Hi guys, so today I am in a Mercedes S-Class, but this is no ordinary S-Class because see that? That's right guys, this is the S560 Cabriolet. Here's the key fob, right? Just hold the unlock button, press the unlock button one time to unlock the doors, hold this. Oh my god, my finger's aching, man. But the thing is that I have to hold it, otherwise the mechanism will stop in its tracks. Okay, so it folds down and voila. Okay, so here you are. Yep, as Bobby and Beng always like to say, drop the top, guys. So this is drop the top with opulence. All right, this S560 here, this is, well, 1 over something million ringgit, and yeah, it's it is properly luxurious, and you may call it an S-Class, it may carry the S-Class name, but don't kid yourself. Okay, this is a totally different stratosphere from your regular S400 hybrid or your S450 AMG line. Okay, now let's get inside. Okay, let me just do one thing. Open the doors. Okay, and okay, open the center console, and with this button, press of this button, let me have to switch the ignition to on first. Press this button and the windows all come down. Okay, so we shall resume with the walk around. Now you see, this is a breathtakingly beautiful car. The silhouette of this car, actually, well, it's at a glance, right, you know, it broadly carries all the family cues that we see in the C Coupe, in the E-Class Coupe. In fact, this look, for example, this rear end look, for example, started with the S-Class Coupe and the S-Class Cabriolet. So this is the car that pioneered in its pre-facelift formula, pioneered Mercedes's current coupe styling language. All right, so you see this in the C Coupe, E Coupe, CLS, even the GLE Coupe, GLC Coupe. All of them have that same rear end look. Here the front also. All right, okay, this is another interpretation of the current generation Mercedes styling language. We have seen this, you know, in some form or another in the S-Class in the other S-Class, the E-Class and all that. So the basic ingredients are already all there. You know, we've seen this all in other Mercedes models, but when you zoom in, that is where this car distinguishes itself from its regular brethren, from the lower reaches of the model range. Okay, you see, these LEDs, okay, are all crystals. Okay, they are all encased in crystal, and the Mercedes-Benz wording here, you see, this is also one piece of crystal. It's not just printed there. I mean, it is printed there, right? But you know, it is covered within a crystal encasement. Okay, and yeah, so you can see the grille. This is the what they call the diamond pattern grille here. Okay, and from you can see from here, this car has 360 camera. It has autonomous emergency braking, fault collision warning. It also has a night vision assist. Okay, I've seen this in action. So if it detects a pedestrian, all right, and I can recount this to you, but obviously I can't film it. All right, the other day I was driving on the highway, all right, and I think I was approaching a toll booth. Maybe the toll booth was at least 200 meters ahead, but the night vision was already detecting one of the toll booth workers walking across the toll gates, and it flashed the night vision monitor on the instrument cluster. Okay, so we come to the back here. You see the tail lights are also of also more elaborate in its elements here. These these look like, when you look closely, they look like, depending on how you look at it, leaves or fins of a reptile inside here. Yeah, very nice. Okay, very intricate, right? So these intricate touches, right, are what differentiate, a luxury car from uh, a mainstream car, or merely a premium premium car. All right, and we look closer at the details. Let's open the boot now. We pop the boot, not to show off its boot space because there isn't much, but as you can see inside here, the boot is also well finished nicely. Okay, nicely finished. You've got a 12-foot socket here. Okay, and here they warn you, be careful when you load things. Don't hit this part. Okay, make sure you stow your luggage properly. You can see that they try to maximize this space as much as they could. All right, but some concessions have to be made to accommodate the folding roof mechanism. Okay, now this is a wind deflector to be raised when if you want to travel at high speeds with the top down. So this helps to reduce wind draft inside the cabin. Okay, now even you see here, right, this rear panel. Okay, this is almost every inch of this car is beautifully finished. We have said in the C-Class cars, like the C-Class, E-Class, Mercedes, we have found traces signs where Mercedes are clever with their cost cutting in certain elements, right? But here, with the S-Class Cabriolet, they don't cut costs. Every little detail that, at least where you can see, okay, is lavished with attention. So you see here, see all this nice stitching here. This is a nice leather piece here. Then you have the speaker here. Okay, and they meet. Okay, these two pieces meet, right? And so, well, there is, strangely enough, right, in terms of rear space, I have the feeling that the E-Class Coupe, right, and Cabriolet seems more spacious at the back. Okay, that's my impression. But of course, once again, as you can see, it is beautifully finished. I like this red upholstery inside the cabin. This maroon red upholstery don't always work, but here in this S-Class Cabriolet, it does a fantastic job to show off the car's opulence. All right, and yeah, so let's show you the armrest here. Okay. I remember this mechanism from the W212 E-Class. Okay. All right, I think this is perhaps the first time I'm doing a cabin walk around video without actually having to go inside. Okay, so you see here, this is where the seat belt comes out. Okay, and then they hide, and then they include, okay, the speaker tweeter inside. And look at this. Okay, so when you close the door, it hands out the seatbelt to you, so you don't have to stretch your arm to reach for it. Okay, and when you open, it retracts back. Okay, now you see here, right, this dashboard, we can see that the basic architecture comes from the regular S-Class sedan, but the way you see, so all this switchgear come from the S-Class. Even the way this panel closes, for example, that comes from the S-Class. This lid, all right, which opens both ways, this comes from the S-Class. The command, the switchgear, the screen, all that from the S-Class. But they molded this panel in such a way that at appearance, at first glance, it looks different from the regular S-Class. So that helps to distance this car, okay, from the regular four-door model, okay, as something something special, something that stands on its own. And I like it. It really, the atmosphere in this is really special. It is really nice, and the material they use also is a very high quality, high grade leather. All right, and it works well. Okay, the contrast with this wood panel works well. So where the sedan is a more technical looking cabin, the way this thing curves and more, there's a bit more sensuality to it. All right, and you look up here, right, even here they actually took the effort to put a metal finish on this. All right, so overall, right, this car, oh, and I just spotted this. See this Mercedes-Benz wording put there just because. Okay, so yeah, and so this car, it is special. Okay, you know, it is an S-Class, but it wears its S-Class badge with pride, yet at the same time, right, it competes above and beyond where, you know, the regular S-Class sits. This car is a legitimate Bentley, Maserati competitor. No issue. Ultra, this car competes for ultra luxury money, and it does so with very convincing credentials. So see here, even this tray, okay, this is a piece of crystal. Also these seats, look at these seats, right? Firstly, that these vents here blow air out around to keep your neck warm on a cold day, and these side bolsters, okay, they actually stiffen up as you corner. So if you were to take take a left turn, all right, when you take a left turn, your body is thrown to the right, so this bolster hardens. Whereas if you turn right, your body is thrown to the left, that bolster hardens. I suppose I can go on by telling you how wonderfully smooth and creamy this 4-liter V8 engine is, how brilliantly set up this suspension, the chassis is, that even though its primary agenda is plushness and comfort, it still has just about enough sharpness in it that you can hustle this car about confidently around winding roads. Not that I recommend you to do, all right, for a car like this, simply because that kind of driving is beneath this stature of car. All right, now and so on. So of course, but still, we have to give credit once again to this 4-liter V8 engine. We have experienced this now with the E63 AMG. We have experienced this in the Maybach S560. Now we come down here to the S560 Cabriolet. Okay, and I must say that Mercedes has once again tuned this engine exceptionally well, giving it the right kind of behavior and character that suits the application. You see, because just like what I said with the Maybach, with the S560 Coupe Cabriolet, right, you are not looking to test out how fast this thing can reach 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. You're not looking to gun this thing 200 kilometers per hour, full throttle. But what you want is, you want to be able to do 110 kilometers per hour just like everybody else, but you are exerting a lot less effort doing so. Okay, now see, just like earlier today, right, I drove this car up Genting Highlands. The whole journey, PJ, right up to the top of Genting, there was hardly an occasion where I even saw 3 digits on the speedometer, but I still enjoyed the experience nonetheless, simply because of how gracefully and effortlessly this 4-liter V8 carried me to those speeds. Okay, so this is the kind of trait that I always associate with large capacity engines, and I always say this is the kind of trait that a proper luxury car must have. All right, luxury cars by default, they need a certain level of performance, not so much to win traffic light drag races, but simply because you just need that strength in reserve in order to be able to flow, in order to be able to progress without without losing your demeanor and composure. It just boils down to that. Okay. But the main selling point of this car really is not so much about its driving experience, all right? Because if you want a car that drives well, you want a large cabriolet that drives well, go to the used car market, look for one of those 6 Series cabrios that Bobby is driving. You know, this is the car that is competing at a level that you need to have what I would call a certain level of brag worthiness. All right, I mean, yeah, so this is the kind of, this car holds its own right there in the ultra luxury niche, and really you really begin to appreciate this car for what it is when you zoom in with a magnifying glass. Many cars, right, you drive them, you form a positive impression, but once you take a magnifying glass, you zoom into all the details, right, everything falls apart. Not this one. This one, when you look closely into everything, you see, like, you go, wow, fuck, they did this. They actually put in that kind of effort, that kind of polish to make this car, you know, feel that much more special, that much more premium than, say, an E-Class Coupe, which is already plenty luxurious enough, or Bobby's 6 Series Cabrio, which he has shown in his video as well. All right, so you see, that also brings us to another point. This car, right, is not for anybody. Okay, let me just explain why. Now, let's assume right now that I am not some guy talking cock on YouTube, but I'm a high roller. Well, you know, with 8 or 9 figures in my bank account, I achieved my success through whatever means lah. Okay, so I'm a super rich guy, and so if I were to turn up at a family function in, say, a BM5 Series, a BM6 Series, a Mercedes CLS or E-Class Coupe, you know, all the relatives will come and talk to me and say, "Ah, son, well done. You have done well in life, ah. Good job, nice car." But if I were to turn up, you know, at a function in this car, this S-Class Cabriolet, people will look at me, "Hey, son, apa's car, ah." You need to be of a certain level of class, sophistication, and maturity in order to be able to convincingly carry yourself in the role that shows that you belong inside a car like this. All right, simply put, just because you are rich, it doesn't mean you fit into the profile of people that would, you know, that can carry a car of this stature and this class of sophistication. So many a time, people like us, enthusiasts like us, we buy cars to enjoy the driving. But with the S-Class Cabriolet, this is a car you buy to enjoy life.